Beyond the COVID-19 pandemic, tragic health hazards and human consequences of economic uncertainties and disruptions globally, many countries are finding ways to weather the storm of hardship.
You can say that again. Now, the slowdown in the global economy and lockdown in some countries have taken its toll on the global demand of macroeconomic products. And Nigeria is presently suffering from the decline in oil demand.
All right, joining us now to discuss the effect of COVID-19 on Nigeria's macroeconomy is Professor Perekunah Eregha, Professor of Macroeconomics at the School of Management and Social Sciences, Pan Atlantic University, Lagos. We'll be discussing the effect of COVID-19 on Nigeria's macroeconomy. It's a pleasure having you once again to have this conversation and to talk about the macroeconomy in Nigeria. A lot has happened. Some will say some good indications, some good signs. I think Brent, as at yesterday, was about $36 per barrel, plus $2.50 will give you what people are taking money on the international market. Focados is doing almost the same. But a lot of talk has been around diversification of the macroeconomic components of the economy. What do you say as regards that?
Okay, good morning, Rufai, and it's once again good to be with you. The truth is that, diversifying Nigerian macroeconomy has been one of the key issues all over the years. If you take, historical events, it has been a challenge, and it has been one of the objectives of government to ensure that the economy is diversified. Take a look at almost all our plans. Is it the Hero GP or the NIMS document or any of these documents? It has always been in our plan to ensure that the economy is diversified. But the truth is that diversifying an economy is based on a number of things. Number one is that what is driving our growth, what is driving our GDP. As of today, Nigeria GDP or Nigeria growth is driven more from labor-intensive sector than capital-intensive. Now, I give you a clue. In the year 1960, Philippines and South Africa, South Korea were having a per capita GDP of around probably $1,500. But in the year, around 2000, which is 40 years after, the difference was clear between South Korea and Philippines. South Korea GDP per capita moved around 3,400, US dollar. But that of the Philippines moved to 3,400. But that of South Africa moved, South Korea moved to as high as, almost 16,000 US dollar. What is the reason? The reason was that South Korea was able to grow beyond what Philippines could do, and they did that by consistently investing in the economy, and that happened by ensuring that every output produced, a certain percentage is invested. That means they were doing what you call capital formation. Now, capital formation is one way an economy can diversify. Now, our economy, production is a function of labor and capital, okay, economically. And when economy is, if production is driven from the labor aspect, that labor-driven production will be slow. And not just slow, but it will not also be globally competitive until you switch from a labor-intensive or labor-driven production to what you call a capital-driven production process. And that is what makes the difference between South Korea and Philippines. And that is the same thing Nigeria is facing. As of today, capital formation is slow or not even taking place or is low. We have spent so much money, but the truth is that until we develop and increase capital formation from the perspective of infrastructural development, which is more of fixed capital, vis-a-vis so capital in terms of tools, machines, and all of that today we import. Also, until we switch that, our production process will still be slow, and it will not be as diversified as it will be. And talking about capital formation from infrastructure, that as of today, we need to think beyond just the normal infrastructure that we have. We need to have what we call integrated infrastructure, where you link infrastructure with respect to railway, to the airport system, to the normal road transport system, to the sea transport system. Nigeria has all of that. As of today, we are still struggling with the seaport issues and so many of these issues. Until these issues and these binding constraints to growth are taken care of, I can guarantee to you that we will still be, in this growth drag that we have. Well, the government is doing a number of things. Well, sometimes, like the last time I came, I said we need to go beyond just having right wishes or good wishes to implementing the policy as it is face value in the plan. And when we do that, I can guarantee that yes, we will be on the path to the kind of growth that we need to put us on economic diversification.
Indeed, and that brings me to the question on response so far. And I'd like to begin with the monetary policies we have seen from the CBN so far. Some say it's been very swift and broad. But other analysts say, you know, on the face value, on the surface value, it is fantastic, but it doesn't go far enough, especially when you consider accessibility and implementation for all of these policies that have been mentioned. But what do you think, disbursement, access of these policies, and what do you think in general about the response, the monetary side?
Okay, you know that when the COVID-19 issue came up, so many countries, you know, came up with so many responses. Now, one of the reasons why some of those countries' responses can be effective is because they have statistics. Okay, they have data, and so they could keep track of who are the vulnerables, which sectors are actually impacted. As of today in Nigeria, the sectors that really suffered so much from COVID-19 are you know, people like the taxi drivers that you have, the street hawkers. You know, if you take a look at the Nigerian GDP as defined today, it's been said that almost 60% of our GDP come from the informal sector, and those are the people that we'll talk about in terms of drivers, in terms of street hawkers. These guys are in the informal sector, but they contribute so much to GDP, and so the kind of response we'll give to be able to target them. But the problem we have is that we don't have the right statistics to be able to keep track of these people and then respond as it should be, and that is why even so much is being released, it doesn't really have effect. Okay, so one thing I would basically advise, and I will say, is that the CBN, for instance, has come up with so many of these, and they are using their own what we call their own microfinance bank. But you know, at a certain time I was speaking with someone and I said, microfinance banks, as we have in this way, especially those that are very operational, they have the statistics of almost all people that are, you know, in the SME sectors that they are dealing with. And so instead of using just one microfinance bank, why don't you spread the net through using those that are really registered with the CBN that they can keep track on? And with these ones, we can have access to the SMEs that are really suffering from, you know, COVID-19 itself through the existing microfinance bank. And with that, we can spread the response to this one directly, and it will have more effect than using just the NICE, which is the central bank microfinance bank that is single state, that is just now, as of today, is in Abuja, to be able to, you know, provide the response to the SMEs that probably they might not even have statistics for.
I mean, we're already in a dire economic situation, even pre-COVID-19. I mean, if you look at our numbers, we're about 2% post-recession GDP growth. Now, I want us to talk, I mean, this is definitely hinged on a huge reliance on crude oil and exportation of this product. Well, if we now shift our focus to non-oil export industries, we're looking at, you know, agriculture, we're looking at the manufacturing sector, we're even looking at something as viable as telecoms. Now, what is it that we need to do to begin to use these sectors to drive our economy as we speak?
Okay, so the truth is that basically, you know, Nigerian GDP by contribution, about 90% of our GDP contribution comes from the non-oil sector. But you know, conversely, on the other side, on the export side of the economy, Nigeria, the non-oil sector that contributes about 90%, you know, contribute less than 10% to our export earnings. It tells you that there is a mismatch in terms of the so much that we produce from the non-oil sector that contributes so much to economic activities could not cross the border of Nigeria. The reason is not far-fetched. At the Harvard University just not too long came up with what we call the Economic Complexity Index.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. We do apologize for that break in transmission. However, we're still joined by Professor Perekunah Eregha, a professor of macroeconomics at the School of Management and Social Sciences, Pan-Atlantic University, Lagos. Now, before the break, you were talking about the mismatch between the non-oil sector and how it contributes to the GDP.
Yeah. So I was trying to say that, you know, the non-oil sector contributes about 90% of our GDP. But on the export side, it contributes less than 9%. I mean, less than 10%. Now it tells you that there is a mismatch. Okay, mismatch in the sense that your GDP, your economic activities is more on the non-oil side, but on the export side of it, it is contributing less to export earning. So the oil now contributes around 90%. The reason it's not far-fetched is because I was trying to refer to the Harvard recently, not quite long. The Harvard University came up with by a professor called Osman, came up with what they call the Economic Complexity Index. That complexity index measures a country's production process, how complex it is, what is the complexity of our production process vis-a-vis our export products. And that rating shows that Nigeria rating is far below even that of Ghana and that of countries like South Africa. In fact, South Africa is the leading one in terms of economic complexity index in Africa. And that tells you the reason why South Africa could go into recession for just one quarter. Within the one quarter, they could come out because their export earning is driven by so many, it's a bit diversified compared to Nigeria. So what I'm saying is that if Nigeria wants to change this side, then we need to look at the complexity of our production process by going away from what we call the labor-driven production process to what I will still call the capital, more of capital. Now for Nigeria, we have, what is the capital per labor? It is very, very low. Capital available for production. The reason why Arise TV could do so well in terms of your production process to compete globally is because you are making use of capital. And capital here talk about not only technology but also about infrastructure. And I know that it's a cost to you, even though the government should have made leverage in terms of providing a number of things. So capital is so key in ensuring that the production process is complex enough for global competitiveness, and so that our export sector could be driven more of the non-oil side also. Thank you.
Right, but for the export sector and other small businesses that are the engine room of the economy to grow, you need a lot of liquidity. Government over the years have tried to provide this level of liquidity. If my memory serves me right, in the 80s, up to the early 90s, a woman called Maria Shokenu came about with this People's Bank when she visited Bangladesh. So she heard about the story. Taisho Larin was on the board of that. We all know how People's Bank failed. Over the years, we've had other, structures too to be able to get capital to small businesses, but it looks very difficult. Shouldn't we be looking at a very important fiscal angle and structural angle to making our economy grow?
Yeah, Rufai, that's a very good question. Now the truth basically is that if you take historical events, you know that government has spent so much in terms of trying to help provide liquidity for SMEs and even so many sectors. Now the problem is not just one about providing liquidity. The second thing to is what is the cost of production in Nigeria? The cost of production, for instance, so to maintain the studio you have, you spend so much in terms of electricity, security, so many other things. And that is where government comes in. If government on the fiscal side could help in leveraging in that aspect, cost of production will reduce. And in that way, profit margin for these SMEs could also increase. And they will be able to have access to, available funds. Now, when cost of production is so high, it erodes away the profit and then the possibility of survival in the system. So that is one aspect. Now, when we talk about government leveraging, I'm also talking about in terms of infrastructure. Infrastructure is key, and infrastructure is also one way of capital formation because it's part of its capital, and that is one area the government and basically the system need to look into.
Well, that's a good place to leave it. Thank you so much, Professor Eregha, for coming on the morning show today.